Room. For the record, please state your name and address. After everyone has an opportunity to speak, the hearing will be closed, and Levy Court will take action as it deems appropriate. Levy Court's decision will be based on the public hearing testimony and recommendations of staff and the Kent County Regional Sewer Advisory Board. Resolution number 3773 is for the extension of the Kent County Sewage Disposal District Number 1 in the Burton Village area for properties on the north side of Big Woods Road. A map is provided on the screen. The request for sewer extension was made for Big Woods LLC. The Department of Public Works prepared a technical feasibility study, and there is adequate capacity to accommodate the proposed project. The property owner / developer is responsible for the design, permitting, and construction of the proposed infrastructure and must obtain an easement. The developer / owner must obtain a commercial sewer permit and pay both impact fees. And the applicant and owner agreed with the findings of the study. Staff recommends the extension, and the Sewer Advisory Board supported the proposal at its meeting on February 5th, 2020.
Any questions for staff? Any questions? Seeing none, the public hearing is open on Resolution 3773. Anyone here in favor? Anyone here in favor? Come down to the podium, give us your name, address, and be sworn or affirmed, please. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mike Ryman with Becker Morgan Group. Our address is 309 South Governors Avenue, Dover, Delaware.
Are you going to swear on the Bible, sir, or affirm?
I'll do the Bible.
All right. Place your right hand on the Bible. Do you solemnly swear upon the Holy Bible that the testimony you give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Good evening. It's good to see the commissioners this evening. I'm happy to be here. Again, my name's Mike Ryman. I'm here representing the property owners, Big Woods LLC and Chev Properties LLC, to request a sewer district extension for the subject parcel that's outlined in red on your screen. The property is about 47 acres, is located between Route 1, you can see Route 1 on the right, and Route 13 on the left. It's located behind what is the Willis Chevrolet property labeled in yellow there. And this project is zoned, all of the properties are zoned BG, zone commercial. The intended use will be commercial. We are inside the growth zone. We are in level 1. Infrastructure currently does exist. We've worked closely with the Public Works Department on how the sewer connection will occur, and we have the property owners are the same property owners as Willis Chevrolet, where the easement will be obtained that Ms. Golt referenced. So we've already had those discussions. That's not an issue, and we're fine to do that. As Ms. Golt had said, SAB recommended approval of the request. We're here obviously to support that request as well, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions for the applicant? Any questions for the applicant? Seeing none?
Thank you very much.
for your time. Appreciate it. Anyone else here in favor of Resolution 3773? Anyone else here in favor? Anyone here in opposition? Anyone here in opposition of Resolution 3773? Seeing none? Public hearing is now closed. Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you, Mr. President. So we'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve Resolution 3773, District Number 1, proposed sewer extension, Burtonwood Village area, Big Woods LLC.
Second motion.
Motion by President Bana, seconded by Commissioner Angel. Ms. Tanaka, please call the roll.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Banta?
Yes.
Mr. Buxton?
Yes, based on positive comments from the Public Works Department, as well as no public opposition, I vote is yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Howell, absent. Mr. Pepper, absent. Mr. Sweeney?
I vote yes, based on the comments of President Bana as well as Commissioner Buxton.
Yes. Commissioner Sweeney, roll call reveals 5 yeas, 2 absent.
5 yeas, 2 absent. The Resolution 3773 passes. Mr. President, back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. With that, we will close the public hearings. Under new business, Mr. Buxton.
Thank you, Mr. President. Introduction of Ordinance LC 20-2, accessory dwelling units. It's an ordinance to amend Kent County Code, Volume 2, Chapter 205, zoning, as amended by revising Articles 2, definitions 205-6, definitions, and Articles 26A, supplementary regulations 205-397.6, accessory dwelling units, in order to permit standalone accessory cottages and modify the square footage limits for accessory dwelling units for public hearing on Tuesday, April 28th at 2:20 at 2 p.m. 2020 at 2 p.m. Yeah, I'll get it right sooner or later.
Thank you, Mr. Buxton. Next two items, Mr. Sweeney, if you would do item number 1 and item number 2, please.
My pleasure, Mr. President. Number 1, move to go into executive session immediately following the meeting for preliminary discussion on site acquisition for a publicly funded capital improvement, legal strategy session regarding collective bargaining or pending or potential litigation, and personnel matters pursuant to 29 Del Code 10,004, Sections B2, 4, and 9.
Need a second?
Second motion.
Regular move to the second to go to executive session immediately after this meeting, as so presented by Mr. Sweeney. Any questions on that motion? Hearing none, Ms. Tanaka, please call the roll.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Buxton?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Howell, absent. Mr. Pepper, absent. Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Banta?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 5 yeas, 2 absent.
Thank you, Lori. 5 affirmative votes approved. Put this to executive session immediately after this meeting, from which we will not be returning. Item number 2, Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to go into executive session immediately following the committee meetings of March 17th, 2020 for preliminary discussion on site acquisition for a publicly funded capital improvement, legal strategy session regarding collective bargaining or pending or potential litigation, and personnel matters pursuant to 29 Del Code 10,004, Sections B2, 4, and 9.
Second motion.
Regular moved and seconded. Mr. Sweeney and Mr. Angel, you have an executive session March 17, 2020. Any questions on that motion? Hearing none, Lorraine Tanaka, please call the roll.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Buxton?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Howell, absent. Mr. Pepper, absent. Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Banta?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 5 yeas, 2 absent.
Thank you, Lori. 5 affirmative votes moves to the executive session on March 17, 2020. Informational item. Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a couple things. On Thursday, I was able to attend the DENREC climate change session at the Delta Community College. Whether your feeling is that climate change is human manufactured or is just a natural cycle of our planet, we do face, according to DENREC, a serious issue coming up in the next 20 to 25 years, that of rising sea level, which will not only impact those houses in our communities that are on the coast, but also groundwater that those communities use for fresh water. So this is something that, working through Mr. Buxton as the chair of planning, hope we can start to look at issues and ways that we can address this. It's going to take a lot of money. I'm hoping the federal government steps in. I also attended the Delaware State Police Troop 3 year in review. The one thing about Troop 3, they only have half of the county. Most of the crime they covers from Denny's Road south to the Sussex County border. They're identifying a pattern of fewer crimes and a pattern of solving more crimes. So Delaware State Troop 3, their position is that they're doing very, very well. The night before this meeting, there were 24 new officers graduated from the academy, and Captain Layfield was hoping to get all 24 at Troop 3, which is a pipe dream. Saturday, I attended the grand opening of the Brandywine Valley SPCA. Adam Lamb was here tonight and kind of estimated about 350 to 400 people were there on Saturday. It was a great event. The governor was there, a couple senators from up north, Senator Pardee from Kent County, myself, Commissioner Angel, Commissioner Pepper were there, all had an opportunity to speak and thank Brandywine for coming into the county. For those of you who don't know, they went into the Kent County SPCA building that used to exist out on Horse Pond Road. And 25 plus years ago, my wife and I adopted our first dog together from that site. And it's good to see the work that they've done to revitalize the building. Tonight, we had our first group discussion on feral cats. We plan to get back together on April 21st in the caucus room also to take this up and finalize plans for moving forward to address feral cats in our county.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. Any other informational items? Mr. Buxton.
So Sunday, I went to Wawa. Monday, I came home and had dinner, and today I'm here. Thanks.
And you're not up for election, are you, Mr. Buxton? I can tell. Because 2 years ago, that would have been a much different conversation.
I'm just kidding. Come on, man. Relax.
Angel.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's kind of hard to follow that. Yes, Saturday also, as Commissioner Sweeney said, the SPCA, the neat thing about the SPCA where it was at is about 10 plus years ago, I had two people looking at that building. One was a vet that wanted to do dog and cat and expand his service and as a veterinarian, and the other one was a developer. When they found out approximately how much it was going to cost to rehab that building, they left. I mean, they just forgot about it, and it deteriorated to the point where I didn't think it was salvageable, but it is. It's gorgeous. We definitely want you to go take a look at it. It's absolutely fantastic. Also, I did my county business with Mike Petitamaji. He was there. He actually covered for me for one of the items I couldn't make it on a Friday for Economic Summit, Technology Summit. And while we were there, we got to listen to Colin Powell speak to us, Ben Carson on housing, and the President of the United States. So it was pretty interesting to have those three people speak to the counties. So all I can say is that when we go, I definitely go to work and bring things back, as you know. So I got a lot of homework still to do, but I will be giving it to a report to Levy Court in the near future, and our association for Delaware, which I am the representative for that. So that's my report for right now.
Thank you, Mr. Angel. Anyone else? I had a chance a couple of weeks ago to speak in Smyrna, Troop 135 of Smyrna, and there was about 40, 45 people there, moms and dads, and I will tell you, it was an inspiration to see these young guys and gals who are going to be the future of America. So it's important that we keep those young folks in mind and keep them pushing forward. And then in the last 10 days, we had the extension service, University of Delaware State University in the building, and we talked about the progress they're making with 4-H and many other programs. So it's been a very busy week or two, and we've all been involved in most sessions of that. So any comments, Mr. Petimage? You okay? With that, Mr. Angel.
It hit me that you were recognized last Saturday night that Mr. Petimage and I were in Washington, D.C. I think Mr. Sweeney, you were there? Commissioner Sweeney? Can you give a little, why our president was being recognized?
Our president was recognized as President Emeritus of the King County Volunteer Firefighters Association for his many years of service, not only as a commissioner, but his years of public service, 40 years, 60 years of public service, from Dewey Beach to Smyrna. He was surprised. His wife was surprised, which was fantastic. Did not know it was coming. So we congratulate him for that honor.
Appreciate that, Mr. Sweeney. Over 60 years of good service. I enjoy helping people. And the moment you can't do that, then you shouldn't be doing it. But I enjoyed it. I still intend to do it. There is life after Levy Court, and I have a plan. So with that being said, are there any public comments? Any public comments? 2 young ladies and 3 gentlemen, no comments? That's hard to believe. Okay. Any further commissioner comments? If not, entertain a motion to adjourn to the caucus room for executive session, from which we will not be returning.
So move, Mr. President.
Second.
Ready to move to the second, Mr. Angel, Mr. Sweeney, to go into executive session, from which we will not be returning. Lorraine, please call for the vote.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Buxton?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Howell, absent. Mr. Pepper, absent. Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Banta?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 5 yeas, 2 absent.
Thank you, Lori. 5 affirmative votes moves us into executive session, from which we will not be returning. We are adjourned.